live on YouTube. So, like I said, hi, I am Dory Joe Stoll with Prairie Scraps, and I'm on YouTube and Facebook. I apologize if you went to my YouTube channel and couldn't find me. It wasn't going up with my videos, so I had to reboot my whole computer, which, is slow motion when you're in a hurry, when you're trying to get things going. So we are doing a thrift store repurpose today from a frame that I got at a thrift store for $1. And I actually got 3 of them exactly alike. So I will show you what they look like. There are 3 different ones like this: wash, laundry, can't remember, iron, I guess was the other one. I've already painted the frame, although this isn't bad, it's gray. It's got really nice hooks on the back, and it's just got like a cardboard insert and this plastic piece that's kind of the front of it. I don't know that I'm going to use that again on these. I might just leave it off. It's kind of coming out anyway. If I do put it in, I will need to make sure to glue it down really good. I think I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of crackle paint just to give it a weathered look and give it a little extra, draw you away from the fact that this is, here, I'll put you down here. So welcome. Make sure that if you go to my YouTube channel, Prairie Scraps, that you subscribe and like and do all the things, put the thumbs up, hit notifications. Oh my goodness, me and my jars. That's not working. There it is. Okay, so this is my own concoction of crackle medium. Did you guys know you can make your own crackle medium? And I've, pretty much glued it shut, I guess. Don't want to get it. I wish I had a sink. I could warm it up under the sink. And it is solid. Alrighty then. We will try something else. See if we can get into some glue. No, it's not going to be that easy. Let's see. Ooh, I hear air. So if you want to make, I'm going to try this out today because I can't get the cover off, but it is blowing air out when I squeeze it. So I think we're onto something. But I saw this lady, she said she always uses Elmer's glue, like the whole, ooh. Well, now I'm really using it because it broke. Like, how old is my glue, right? Oh, it's coming out. She said so usually I make my own Mod Podge with 50%, half glue, half white school glue, and half water. And I mix that up, and then I just keep it in an old paste jar, which, as you can see, I can't get open. So when in doubt, but she said she uses 100% glue. So what I'm going to do is just get some glue on here, and then I am going to wet my sponge and see if I can get it to spread. Sure enough. There we go. Come to me. And then that works. It works pretty good usually, my homemade version. So when I water it down, of course, as with anything, I like to work with things that are a little bit cool, smoother, will go on smoother because it is watered down a little bit. But each to his own. Mod Podge by the gallon. Oh yeah, you really could. So I usually just keep it here, but I can't get it open. It's like glued itself shut. So I'm just going to put it on here. And so all you do is you put it down, and then you want it to dry a little bit before you put the next layer on, but not all the way. So it's kind of a weird thing, I think. I remember I have a dresser in my house. I did in college. My brother and I did. My brother's kind of an artsy, I would say artsy fartsy person. He went to school for graphic design. And I'm watering this a little because it is very thick, and trying to get it on here. And then we're gonna put another color on top. So the white will be what crackles out. And I'm going to do something really, really subtle. I'm not going to do anything super bold, I don't think. You can also, they say, make your own sea spray. And I've tried that. If you guys have watched me any amount of time, you saw me try. Not pretty. I didn't like it. I ended up taking it all off. I tried to do it on my nativity scene last year, and it didn't work out for me. So this is already thickening up here. So I'm trying to just make sure I get the whole thing covered with this glue. What a mess. Whenever I see back to school sales and like, because Staples, this is a Staples one. I'm advertising for Staples today. I get nothing back from this. But whenever Staples used to have their back to school sales, they were 10 cents a bottle. I would go buy like 4 of them or 5 of them. 50 cents I would spend on glue just for crafting and making my own Mod Podge. You know, girls got to be creative. All right. Well, this one is going to have some issues, so I'm just going to put the, I'm going to set that aside. Oofta. We are going to town today. This one said iron. That's what was under there. I don't know. It's kind of an old looking thing. And then, oh, have you done Mod Podge, Karen? Wondering. Just curious minds want to know. Have you done Mod Podge? Just in general, have you used, oh, for crackle? Just letting it dry a little bit. And then I'm going to go in. I think I'm going to use, maybe I'll use Dune. I don't know. I seem like I, not bright white. We don't want that because we've got white underneath. That's bright white too. Oh, there it is. Like, don't lose the, I like vanilla. It's just a little softer. Maybe I could, while I'm talking about it, maybe I could do Dune or Camel. Camel's a good color. I'm gonna try. It might look like wood. Oh, that is not a usable camel. I am just gonna pour water on that one and get that one situated. I guess that might be it for me for camel. So camel might not be my ideal color. I just poured a lot on there by accident, but it's all right. It's gonna. Let's see what else we have here. What should I do is the color on top of white, because I've got a really bright white here. I'm trying to think what to do. I might just do vanilla. I could do bark. To get a crack, I think it would make crackle. I don't want to do orange because we're putting pumpkins on this. Well, vanilla it is. I should have just stuck with it, right? Oops, this is Dune. Maybe Dune. It's a little bit darker. We're going to go for it. All right, let's see if we can get the Dune going. I like to get my brush wet to start with. So I just spritz it and kind of soak up some water on it. It just, for me, I think it works better. And then we'll use this on here. It is still wet, but as it dries, my whole goal is to like draw your attention away from the fact that, maybe I'll go this way, that it's that it's corrugated cardboard as a background. I may have to come up with a second idea. If you have an idea what I could use for a background, I don't know. I was thinking I could use these, but I didn't realize it. Whoops. Almost lost the brush. I'm going to go this way. Instead of fighting the grain, I'm going to go with it. This is using a lot. It's going to be interesting. And every time I've done crackle paint, I have found that you really need to just put on your paint, your top coat paint pretty thickly to get it to, and I don't want it to look this bumpy way. I'm trying to get it on there. I think it's, the trick is to get it, you know, before it's too dry and a little moist, a little tacky. I maybe am in some spots not dry enough. But this is a pretty big piece I'm working on, so we'll see if I can fix it. We don't know. There are definitely some spots that are, oops, my fingerprint out of the middle, that are really dry, and some spots that are a little more moist. So we'll see what's going to be the key to making it crackle. And I'm wondering if you, whichever way you go on the brush, is that the way it crackles? I think so. I don't know. Maybe it's the way that you go on the crackle medium, whatever you're using for that. All right, let's see if we can get it to crackle. I don't know. It might be a fail. This might be a fail. This is Dune we're using here. Hi, Jessica. Good to see you. Thanks for joining in. If you are coming in, please be sure to say hello and, you know, do all the things so that you help out my small business. I'm over on YouTube at Prairie Scraps. My name is Dory, and we are going to do a thrift store redo today by using a frame. And this is the insert that was in there, and I'm a little worried about the background. So I'm trying to do some crackle, but it doesn't look like it's working. I'm not going to lie, I might have failed. I mean, ooh, it's crackling there, actually. Some of it's crackling right under where I'll put the pumpkins. Maybe I'll turn it upside down. See where I got it really thick? That's where it's crackling. And I will do like a coat of wax on top of this just to protect it. Why it has a really short cord. They've made this cord longer now, but it was originally really short. My air conditioner is working good, but it's working hard today. It's 90 degrees here in Idaho. Jessica, do you decorate for fall, and when do you start doing that? Somebody asked that question the other day and was like, I saw it on Facebook and I was like, oh, like I started last month. Oops. Don't overwork it. That's my advice. Well, it's showing a little bit. It's not tons of crackle, but it is showing a little bit. So it's giving it some texture. And then, of course, you kind of see like some of these white areas. Those are where the corrugated is kind of divoted in. So I was talking about my brother and I wanted my you know, growing up old dresser to look fancy in my first place. And so he came and we crackle painted the drawers. We painted the whole thing green. We used the small bottles of acrylic paint to paint the entire thing, and then we used I think we maybe spray painted the whole thing like a dark green, and then we came back and put the crackle medium on the whole thing, and then used a light green over the top so the dark green came through. And I just remember it was like painstaking to get through that whole project, just because it was such a big project. I think there's 5 or 6 drawers on that dresser. I still have it. It's in my kids' room. I can't bear to paint over it. Well, it's got crackle on it, so it's a pretty tough crackle. This is crackling. It's not bad. It's not bad at all, actually. It's more in some places than other. It does take and it's going the way I brushed it this way. Over here, it's kind of like happening where I went both ways. So maybe I should have brushed it in more. I don't know. This one kind of opened up though, so I don't like necessarily that look right there. I'll show you in just a minute. Let me show you what it's looking like. When you see it, it is doing a little bit of crackling. There's also some texture from this. I think it actually kind of makes it look like it's almost like a burlap or fabric, right? The crackle thing is kind of interesting. Wonder who figured this all out. So I think for years and years and years we've had this, I don't know, crackle medium. Because that was, oh gosh, way back in the 90s that I used crackle medium on a dresser. See, I've been doing furniture forever and ever, but I really didn't know what I was doing. It was probably the first piece of furniture I've ever done. I'm like, how hard can this be? But I remember we spent like a whole weekend doing this crackle paint. It was a forever project, but kind of a fun project, I guess. I think my brother wasn't even, well, maybe he was first or second year of college. So, and I was probably just out of college. And we did that crackle dresser. So it's kind of a fun story, I guess. Fond memories. All right. I think we've got it dry. So now you can see it's just kind of got more of a texture. I think adding the different colors really helps it. I'm going to do a surface wax now on this, just a clear wax, and get that on there. And I might actually do another because I don't want this to come off. That was still wet. That was like sticky like glue. I want to seal this in so that it doesn't come off when I put my transfer on. I want it to magically dry, really. So I'm just putting a surface wax on here, making sure I'm getting it on there so it doesn't come off when we go to do the next thing. And I think I might use some of my gel stain on this. Maybe I'll do that afterwards. We're just doing all the things. This is the most, that is still very wet here. Now, so you have to be careful when you're heating up wax because it will melt. But sometimes it can work to your benefit because you can kind of smooth it out. If you've got lumps in your wax, it's a good way to kind of smooth it out. So, all right. I like this up here better than this down here. So I'm gonna go with this. All right. On to the paint and the paste. Oh goodness. We've been going for an hour on this. So just to show you like how I converted that frame so that I have a surface. That's how it looks so far. I don't think it's too bad. I think it just gives it a little bit of a primitive look, and we're not done. There's more. So I'm going to use this pumpkin patch, and I'm just going to be using the pumpkins part. So we're going to try working with this a little bit. It is a big transfer. So sometimes the big transfers are a little difficult to deal with, and it might be because I've got a rocky surface here, so to speak. It might be a little bit more difficult to deal with anyway. Put that over here. I'm going to get things out of my way. And I think I'm going to peel this off. Actually, I'm just getting it started, and then I'm going to peel this off flat so that, you know, it's not sticking to anything and to itself. And then I want to put the backing back on the top portion. And then we're going to, so I have half of it covered. So it's going to make it really large. But then I won't go over to the pumpkin patch part. And I'm also going to take my cloth and we're gonna, where did my cloth go? Okay. And we're going to fuzz this back side because we want to fuzz this really good so it doesn't stick to that cardboard too hard. If it sticks to the cardboard, I got a piece of hair already. Fuzz, not hair it. We're trying here. Sorry for the weird angles. Like I said, this is a big surface. So it can be a little difficult. Just be patient with it. Don't, you know, probably don't do what I do. Do as I say. Try to take your time with it and try not to get it folded over on itself. That's the worst thing because you don't want it to stick to itself. It can tear itself, especially the first time you use it. And this is the first time you use them, they're very sticky. So the new transfers finally have like a yellowish backing, so you can tell which is which. But if you can't tell which is the back from the front, then feel free to put a marker on the back. I used to, when I first started, I would always write what transfer it was that went on it so that I knew what backing went to what. So if you were trying to find me right on YouTube, right at 2 o'clock, I couldn't get on with my video. I don't know what was going on, but it was a mess. So I apologize for being late because I thought I was doing so great. I got everything ready to go, and I got the, you know, everything set up, lined up, and the, I'm going to take this cardboard out of here because I don't want it to stick to this cardboard. We're just going to do it on my thing. I got my text sent out, so a reminder text. So if you want to be on my reminder text, you can just comment text below. So I'm just trying to get these 3 pumpkins. I just love these pumpkins. They are so pretty. Kind of on here. That is it. I think we got it. Maybe it down a little bit. And that didn't stick too bad, actually. Well, I lied. Some of it's coming up. But I think it's good that I put a couple layers on because what I want to do is I want to get that top of that leaf on. And I don't want to have this, there's kind of an outline on this picture, and I don't really want that in the picture, but it can be kind of on the bottom portion. So this is the most difficult part, getting it all lined up really good. Okay, let's see. I've got, there's a little bit of the greens there that go up. I think what I want to do is just go ahead and do it all in brown, because this is an outline, kind of like a botanical. Hopefully you can see this okay. But basically I've got just this part of the it on there. And I'm going to do our espresso, which is a new en vogue color that just came out. Love it. It is one of my favorite. Unfortunately, I don't have anything. Oh, there's a lighter one. I'm like, well, all I have are minis and then this one. So I'm trying not to get everything, I guess you would say. And I'm gonna, there's some like crackling on this. What do you guys think about the established? I don't think I need it. Since this doesn't have any words, I'm just wanting to do the words. And I may like fill this in and watercolor it. So I have this bottom line on here. I'm not going to worry about the bottom line too much because it will be, I think, behind the frame mostly. I'm just trying to get the pumpkins. And I'm working quickly because I don't want it to dry. There's a little bit of something up there. You don't want it to dry in the transfer. So I'm going to end up peeling and pasting and peeling here. I'm going to peel a little bit because I don't want it to stick. There was a little smearage on the outside edge, and I need to peel really slowly because there's some smearing. It's in the pumpkin so far. We don't want it to dry. I'm sorry, it's not a great view for you. And I'm leaving it put anywhere I can. So I'm just laying that back like that. It's okay. And we're going to try to get this dry. But you can see it did smear in here a little bit. That's okay. I'm going to do some painting there. Probably do some watercolor. Fill it in a little bit. It did peel some of it back again, you know, like from the... I may want to get that. So I am drying this because I don't want to smear it when I put it back down, so I can get the rest of the transfer on there. It is peeling back some of that painting, the top coat. That's okay. We did all the coats for a reason, so that we had the layers there. And like I said, the pumpkins, and I plan on doing a little bit of, you know, little bit of coloring in, and I may have to go back over it and do the outline. Okay, that's going to be pretty good. All right, so we're going to take that, and it's getting everywhere. That paste is getting everywhere. So, but I want to lay this back down, get it nice and firm on there, make sure that I get in those holes so it doesn't smear anymore. And we're going to go ahead, and I'm actually going to swipe into this because I see that I kind of left a lot. I was panicking. I didn't want it to dry. And so I'm going to go backtrack a little bit here, get the rest of it in, avoid the 1987. I suppose 1987 is vintage. Makes me really vintage, I guess. I'm sad about that. I don't want to be vintage, really. Oops, got the 19 part of that. So now I'm just gonna try to get this outside edge here as best I can without getting all the lines and the patch and going quickly. So it's a lot to think about when you're doing bigger ones, because you do want to work really quickly to get it all done. and quickly, because when it dries in the transfer too much, it will stick to the transfer when you peel it away. So you don't want that to happen. Just have to work quickly. All right. And I do know it's going to, in that little divot there, it's going to go ahead and smear there. And like I said, I'm just hoping for the best. It's not going to be perfect. Put back what we're not using, and we'll see how that worked out. And I will hold it up for you to see. Hopefully this worked out very good. Not too bad. It did get kind of heavy in the brown there, but it stayed within the pumpkin for the most part. All right, this I want to get back onto this sheet, the backing, and not fold it on itself. Wish me luck. Wish me luck. And not set it in my project. I don't know if you can see any of this, but this is a mess. This is a hot mess. All right. I just don't want to stick it down to anything but the backing. And I will take that in. You could wash it off in the sink or the shower. Just run water over it. And there we go. You see it? Is that pretty? It's kind of like an oldish looking pumpkin. Let me hold it back for you a little bit. And up so you can see all the parts. You do see like where this crease is, and where this crease is, there's some extra like right here and right down here, but I think it's going to be totally good. So this is definitely a multi-process. That makes sense. This is going to take some steps to get it done entirely. I'm going to set that aside. Get my hands clean before I make a mess. Hi, Teresa. Good to see you. And Jessica, if you are watching, hello, hello, hello. Good to see you. So this is kind of what I've got. There it is. Isn't it pretty? This is such a beautiful transfer. I just love pumpkins. Are you guys into pumpkins? Pumpkins are probably my favorite part. That and the colors. They're my favorite part of fall. Probably shouldn't wipe off with the wet wipe while I have the electricity plugged in. It did do some brown smearing here, but you know what? Unless you're looking at it really closely, you won't even notice. And I think I'm gonna, I could wax this, and that might seal this brown in. I'll have to get it really nice and dry, and then I'm gonna watercolor in and see what I can do for water. I don't know if I want to wax it though. I think I'm gonna just leave it. These thicker spots are really wet. So I think I'm going to be able to do Mondays and Thursdays, probably at the same time, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's going to be my school year schedule. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I do piano and guitar lessons, I guess, this year. This did have some smudges purposely in the transfer, so don't be distracted by that. And then let's see what we can do here. Let's get some beautiful oranges maybe and yellows to do some pumpkins, and we'll probably do some, here's a darker one. This one is saucy. That one is almost a red. I don't know. We're just gonna start doing some, probably should start with the lightest color. This one is saffron. I think, nope, this one is not a shimmer. None of them are shimmers that I pulled out today. So I'm going to put a little bit of water in their lids so they can kind of watercolor. That's what we're going to be doing here today. It's just getting some watercolor on there. Get our brush wet. And I found that you want your brush to be wet, but not too wet. And we're just going to kind of paint in here. Remember, I have wax under this. So at first, it's just going to kind of bubble up. And I want to give it some depth. So I'm just going to follow along with those the lines on the pumpkin just to give it some darkness. This is, well, I guess it's not the darkest color, so maybe I'll go in the middle. Give that some. And if you use too much water in it or rub it too many times, it will end up picking up your brown outline. And so we can go back and do the brown over the top again. Hi, Sherry. Good to see you. Now, again, I don't want that corrugated look there. So I'm going to get some water into that and kind of spread it out so it doesn't look so corrugated. I'm doing this on cardboard, so I don't want it to look like I'm doing it on cardboard. Isn't that transforming that a ton? Oops, that was... If you get too much, you know, go over it a little bit with water. We'll do some blending with some different colors here. I'm just trying to go with the curve. I don't know how to paint. I am not a painter by any means. I'm not an expert at all. I just went out of the lines. I'm not even good at doing in the lines, to be sure. Sherry, have you started decorating for fall yet? So if you go outside, just take a little wipe and wipe it off. Because I've added water, it's a little bit easier. Plus my surface. Okay. I probably should have like a clean cup. Maybe I'll just do it on a wipe here. A clean cup would be better. I don't want to intermix colors, so that's the one thing I'm trying to avoid here. I'm going to go for the saucy a little bit, and I don't think it'll... Oops, that still is on there. All right, let's pick it up. And I want the darkest portions to be on the outside. And it's okay if I just kind of cover up the brown. You don't have to be inside whatsoever. And I'm going to keep adding water to blend it with that last color. So it was saucy I had. What was the other one? I forgot. Rust. Rust and saucy we have here. See the difference in the, this is rust, this is saucy. So it's a little bit really subtle, actually. We want to get some of that over there, I think. Just get that darker color. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I'm so sorry. That's no fun. I hope you get well soon. That's not good. I'm going to try to get all the parts of the pumpkin here. I love pumpkins. I'm just, did I say that enough? Have I said that enough here today? I love pumpkins. I think they're the coolest. Now I need to find a small, I think I have most of my brushes and my squeegees in the house. So I'm going to just fill in with this saffron here. Ooh, that's nice. And I want it more blended. So I'm going to add a little extra water to kind of grab up that orange and get that saffron in there. So this, when it bubbles up, because it's got too much water in it, just go ahead and add some more paint to it. Because I have wax under it, so it will bubble if it's... What do you think? Am I getting close to looking like a pumpkin here? What do you think about it? I think it's looking pretty realistic. Do you have like a cold? I'm sorry. It's never fun. Never fun to be sick. This got really orange over there, so I'm going to mix some of that orange back in here. What do you think? I am pretty in love. I love it. I don't want it to look so, let's say, contrived there. So much line. I want it to blend in. And you notice like how some of those spots where it didn't look very nice, like right here, those will be totally covered by pumpkin. What color do you think? I want to go for a dark green for the leaves. What other color pumpkins? Maybe more like an orange. Isn't that pretty? I'm really excited about that. Ugh, sore throat. No, that's no fun. I know my daughter's been struggling with. I'm going to get some more over here on this because I kind of remember this sort of filled in over here. Ooh, I'm like double fisting the brushes now. So my daughter's been really sick with the virus for like weeks. They hardly ever get sick. Well, she gets more sick, but her husband never does, and he was sick. I'm dabbing here on those spots. I don't want it to be so corrugated. See? That looks so good, I think. I like it. So I'm just putting the darker by the lines. That's just my observation in nature, how it looks. And then I want to do these stems and probably some of the leaves. I don't know. Maybe some. I'll make sure I keep my paste all going good. Some water on top. I think I'm just going to work on this one pumpkin today, and I'll come back another time and work on the rest of the pumpkins. But I'm thinking, I have green here. Sure enough. Maybe moss and pesto. They're both, I think I like this one better, the moss. Put some in the lid. Oops, that's not the one I want to use. All right. New brush. This one's really fat for what I'm going to be doing. Forgive me for what I'm about to do, maybe. I'm out of brushes, so that... This one's kind of a poofy brush. I'm not sure I'm going to like it at all. I'm going to try to take it sideways. Now, there is another pumpkin transfer besides this one that has the 3 that you could totally do this with as well. And it's even got like the funky stick this does. I think it's a smaller transfer. Maybe it's the same size, but it's in pieces and you'd have to piece it together. The reason I wanted to do this with this one is because I like that it's already put together. Like it's already evenly, it's spaced nicely. Is that too green? Just get this wet. I'm gonna kind of do some blending instead of. I'm not great. I'm not doing a beautiful job. I'm not doing a great job at getting them blended in either. So, what color leaves? Hi, Christy. Good to see you. What color leaves? Should we go back to the... Wait, that's got a dry top too. Just kind of doing some watercoloring here. And to make these brown lines really crisp, I can come back and lay the transfer over again and do the brown all over again, the espresso. I think I'm going to do a little bit of, I don't know. Oops. That is a lot of orange on my, I guess my brush is kind of just doing the yellow around the inside, and let's see how it goes. I don't know. How does one do the leaves? I'm making this up as I go. I'm no expert, but maybe I'll go the darker color. This is the Saucy. This was the color of the month. Have you seen the Jolene? Oh my goodness, it's so cute. The new color of the month. I'm trying to stay in the lines, but I'm not being too successful here. I feel kind of blind. So this has been kind of a long, trying to make it look fall, because there's no, like, nature isn't like a usually too planned. It does have planned, like, numbers of arms and things. There we go. That one I'm definitely going to have to go over again. I think I want to take a wet wipe and just kind of dab away at it and kind of fill it in a little bit better. That one's definitely going to need some more detail to it by adding that up over the top. So I'm going to have to do another day for sure, but so you get the idea. We could also do some like brown leaves. Just depends. I don't know. This kind of has like the orange and yellow mixed together on the brush. So I'm just using what's there to get that leaf. But as I'm doing it, it is activating that brown a little bit. So it's sort of, this is really just like my girls were saying, they really like to do finger painting. This is really what I'm doing here, is just a little finger painting. And I'm going outside the lines a little, so it doesn't look as clean. But it came off really nice and easy because it's just watered down version. So I'm just pushing it towards the leaf to fix the outside edges, even though I went around. There. I don't know. I'm going to keep playing with it. I'm probably going to come back and do a little bit more. Stay tuned. I will be posting a picture eventually when I get this one done. Maybe I'll do a picture of it as it is. Let me give you a look-see of how it's going to look in that frame that we got at a thrift store for $1. Who doesn't love that? Right? I'm going to set my colors here because I want to come back and do this. All right, let's take a look at that frame. What do you think? I think it looks nice. And like I said, I'll put it in the, when I put it in the frame, we'll go ahead and get a second coat of the transfer on there. You could do it in a lighter color so that you can color in and then go over it with a darker color, but we'll see. I think it just looks really, really neat. Really neat. Thank you. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining me. I hope you have a very blessed evening, and make sure that you keep on crafting. And we will see you for sure next Monday. Maybe stay tuned. I might do something here and there. And definitely check in. Say hi. We will see you soon. God bless.